Welcome to the May 22nd special board meeting. We will call the meeting to order at 6:11. Let's rise to say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Folders going everywhere. Okay. So present we have our here.
Megan Wicks here, Kathy Grant.
Here.
Arta Falwell.
Here.
And Sarah Thompson. Here. Absent, well, Christopher Wilson will be writing late, and Darian Piano is able to attend. Also present, Adam Byers.
Great, thank you so much. And I will say the mission statement. The Voluntown Board of Education's mission is to provide our students the skills essential to reach their highest potential in a safe environment for learning as they aspire to become responsible, respectful, and civic-minded members of society. We commit to help educate, challenge, and inspire each child to excel as lifelong learners who can adapt constructively in an ever-changing, multicultural, and technological world. We don't have any guests remaining for any comments or any scheduled guests. I think we had to, we'll be planning the transportation meeting and presentation for our next meeting in June. So we can move to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve as presented?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None heard. The ayes have it. Okay. So we don't have Mrs. Cefaletto here tonight, but we did get a report for her.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty straightforward. She's got a very busy end of year.
Yeah, she just said it's the same as the last meeting,
Yeah.
so we're fine.
Yeah. And we'll see her potentially tomorrow for the 8th
That's
grade
in the
meeting.
agenda for new business.
Oh yeah, that's fine. No, I'm just
That's not the
picking out papers. I don't.
superintendent's report.
Yep.
And then Lloyd gave you a just summary of what's happening with special ed. And I'm moving ahead, okay?
Well, move ahead, please do.
My
Please
calendar,
do.
I'm not gonna give it to you for January, it's just, wrapping up things that are happening. I do wanna say two things to add to my report, and Dee Dee, I wrote them down, so I'll give you my notes. But Lance Hagan just saved, he's with the Learn Tech Services, and he just saved us $1,470.60. And what was happening is the before the next 3-year contract was coming up. That's part of our cybersecurity professional development for teachers. And if we have a professional development program, we get a reduced rate on our cyber insurance. And Lance was going through the schools that he served, and he called before, and he got a, so we're in with a group. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Then the other thing is the state, I just got the memo, they approved $40 million in additional allocations for excess cost for throughout the state. That's special ed. Voluntown's allocation was $4,588. And that just goes back into the town because we full fund special ed outplacements. We're not going to mess around with trying to wait for the state to reimburse it because in all my years of administration, they've never followed through with what they allocated. And then the ECS grant for the state for Voluntown is listed at $2,677 or minus the $114 566. And this was mentioned in the meeting the other night. That was the largest state reduction that's happened. Now, I'm not sure they're gonna pull out a last minute deal with it, but it looks very, very doubtful. And then, of course, the next year that goes up to even higher. So that's something that needs to be dealt with. We processed our REAP grant for 23,775, and there's a number of things that we do with that. And then you got the enrollment and other figures, but that's it for me, Kate.
Any questions for Mr. Burrows? And his second to last board presentation? I think we're good. Thank you for covering all that. We can move on to the budget presentation. I know we all met on Tuesday for those that could make it. I think it was a pretty succinct presentation about the Board of Education budget and
Successfully received.
yeah, successfully received generally.
I think there was.
I'm watching the state numbers. Statewide, we might have the lowest budget increase.
Wow.
But we'll see what happens because they're presenting budgets and then some towns might vote to have a zero, but I sure hope things go well with that referendum.
Sounded like things were, generally positive around our end.
Yeah.
So
Okay, budget.
please go vote and pass our spending plan if you can.
Yes.
June 3rd,
Please.
all day long. All right. And our building committee update.
Yes, the building committee met and we've signed, we accepted a bid from New England Services and Controls for the library for $44,950. And as you know, we're using a combination of town HVAC funds that they've allowed us to access and a little bit from the school budget for next year, which is in the construction services account. So you're well aware of that. It would be good if you could just confirm the decision of the building committee to offer the contract to New England Service and Controls.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None heard? Motion passes. Yep, that was a successful building committee meeting, and I think that was one of your last as well. So we tried to tie up loose ends with that, but the whole committee was very gracious of Adam and gave him a very heartfelt, thank you for all of his work on that committee and his care for the building and all the things that he's done over the years with those people on the committee. So it was a nice
Thank you.
testament. Okay. Item number 3 of old business is the transportation update relating to the buses.
Yes, okay. Let's see. The first thing is that in the past 2 times, we have used Wells Fargo municipal funding. And I talked to Tracy and Julie about this, and they said, you don't have to use the bid process with this. And I will tell you, last time, 9 years ago, we tried to get another company to see if we can get a better price. And it reached the point where it was so complicated with the contracts. I called Fred and I said, I can't get a straight answer, and I've got a company that they're so good. I got all the things, I got the prices. So what happens is I'd like you to we don't have to do the base price, just authorize the superintendent to sign a lease purchase with Wells Fargo. Now, let me give you the numbers. If we finance for 5 years, and the thing is that, they gave us a quote on financing $518,963. but that doesn't include trading in the value of our current buses. Now, school lines, they're the Bluebird company. They have access to trade-ins and a network that they can use. So they're coming in within the next, few days. They'll go through the 4 buses that we want to trade in, and our mechanic recommended these buses. And then I'll get a price for that. So we might not be financing $518,963. Now, if we borrow for 5 years, the interest rate is 5.58%. If we borrow for 6 years, it would be 5.62. But with the trading in and what's happening, I think I've got about, 99,000 budgeted, it's in the budget for the payment of the lease purchase. But that can be a fixed amount for a number of years. And if we wind up getting a better quote for the lease purchase, and we also, and I did this in the past, you make an upfront payment, so you're not doing 11 months worth of interest on that money. So you get a savings on that if you just, prepay the whole thing. And last time we paid off the buses in 3.5 years with some good financial management. I don't like having debt. I look at ways that we can pay it off as soon as possible. And the other thing is, you have 4 older buses that are going to wind up costing. Now look, we got our quote in to school lines, and I signed off on that. And Scott Davis just told me, he said, Bluebird is not giving anybody any quotes right now because of the tariffs and because of the other things. So we had a slight increase of the buses, but I think in the future it's not going to be $2,500. So we're locked into the 4 buses. I want to lock in, sign this thing tomorrow to lock into a rate for the financing, and then we can see where we go from there. And I'll talk with Labrie coming in for the transportation meeting, in June. He's done this before. I met with him, and he's been out, and we've looked at things. I talked to him about my approach, and he said, yeah, I'd use that approach too. So if you could just authorize me to sign a contract with Wells Fargo, I'll go ahead and do it.
Motion.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard? Motion passes to sign the purchase lease agreement with Wells Fargo. Let's get our buses. I'm concerned. We see a new bus every day of some sort going through. Okay. So we can move to new business.
Okay.
Personnel. Seems we have a few movement in personnel, Adam. I think we're looking for a resignation authorization.
Say that again.
Personnel.
Resignation.
Oh, let's see, personnel, yes, accept the resignation of Carol O'Donnell, paraprofessional.
A paraprofessional, okay. So we need a motion to accept the resignation of Carol O'Donnell as paraeducator and thank her for her time with our
Motion.
kids.
Second with regrets.
With regrets, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
With regrets? Any opposed? None heard?
And
Motion
then
to
the
accept.
next, I met with Megan Black, and the selection committee did a wonderful job. I think Kate served on the committee. They had some wonderful applications, very, very competitive. They chose 3 people to teach lessons. The team observed them. And I met with Megan. She's master's degree first, for second year, which is within our budget proposal. And I just think she really are looking forward. Well, I'm not going to look forward. I would have looked forward to to seeing her But, just a motion to approve the appointment of Megan.
Is that for third grade or is that for?
Currently for third,
For
yes,
third grade.
that's what we're hiring for. For Mrs. Brett, who's gonna move to
Yeah,
Two.
junior high.
junior high. So,
Motion. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes to approve and welcome Megan Black as a new teacher within the Voluntown school system. Congratulations, Megan. Okay. Item number 2 of new business, policy 2000. These are a slew of, as if you've taken a gander at them.
It's only about a quarter through with all of the ones relating to update duties and such that. we're
Right.
working through, so.
Yeah, I think. I looked through them all, but I feel like there's certain ones where I want to make sure that the group feels they're necessary, that I feel like we've had them since 1990.
See that, yeah.
I know Dee Dee sent them through with, just all the CABE updates. Yep.
Right.
I thought it was interesting that we have an administration policy when we have job descriptions.
I know, yeah.
Okay, that was
Yeah.
the only one that was like,
Mm-hmm.
you would think that this would be more.
Right.
Because we have job descriptions,
Mm-hmm.
we have our own goals, the board's goals,
Yep.
the superintendent's goals, and then we have our evaluation and the superintendent evaluation. So you would think all of this stuff really would be encompassed in one of those 3 other documents. would
I
be my
don't
thought.
think CABE ever puts out job descriptions, do they? I don't remember ever,
They have a booklet for general ones. I know.
general, kind of very broad.
In the past, we have called them for the educators,
So,
the substitute teachers and stuff.
I would almost be okay with removing this, and, we can make sure that there's nothing glaring that's not in our goals or a job description.
Right.
What is that you have to remove?
This is the administration policy.
Yeah.
It talks about like the board superintendent relationship, the board and superintendent's responsibilities, the superintendent's responsibilities.
Yeah.
Is this mandatory?
No. Mm.
Because some of these are mandatory to have in your
Some policies
policy.
are.
Yeah, some are. Give me a few minutes. Keep talking.
Yeah, the basic concept is just, it's so vaguely, like, blah, I don't
It's
really,
a lot of nothing.
yeah, it's a lot of.
Yeah, and even if we wanted to so there's a section here about the board superintendent relationship. I would almost be, if we feel like that's important, then I would almost be inclined to
connect the two, use
have
this.
a 1 page, and it's either, we could even attach it as an appendix
Mm.
to our goals and
That's
their
what I was
goals.
thinking.
Right, an
Exactly.
appendix, so and not have it as a policy.
Yeah,
I think that might
That's
be,
exactly
they
what I was
have this,
thinking. Yep.
graph thing, we could just have an appendix on our, goals.
Mhm. And use this as a guide for the, right.
As long as it's not mandatory.
As long as it's not mandatory.
Yeah.
It is.
it's better to see it there than
Yeah.
it is in a strange policy, I
Yeah.
think, It's a good reminder of,
Yeah, it's a good,
Yeah, so that's 2000.1 is the board superintendent relationship.
Yeah.
Right. And we have job descriptions here.
yeah, I have just a few
Yeah,
questions,
two,
or changes to that one,
Yeah.
so we can keep it.
It looks like under their required policies, all of the 2000 series is not required.
oh, good.
So any of these, you could do whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to remind the board that you just signed a contract with a new super, and my contract is ending, but within the contracts, there was an evaluation component And I had 6 areas
Yeah.
that I asked the board to evaluate, so you're gonna look at that in a little while. And that's a legal binding, so you could, have a policy, but when it comes down to the day-to-day things, it's that signed contract that takes precedent over anything. Is it required, mentioning that you have an evaluation is important, and I'm a big one for evaluation, but it has to be flexible. And, you may want to change some things from year to year. So, this is a first reading. I would be interested in what Scott has to say with some of the policies that he's worked with, because he's the one that's gonna be, wind up, first drafting this for you. And quite frankly, all of these administrative things, all of the policies, 2 through 7, this is a first reading. Table them to your next meeting.
What month do we do goal setting for us, for superintendent?
November?
You've already done your goal setting.
Yeah.
So your goal setting has to occur, and I think we did it in April this year, which is good, because the board's goals are used for the teachers, for them to write their evaluation, and that's
Oh,
set in
goal, we just
stone.
did.
So if you
But not
don't have,
my-
if you don't have your goals, then the teachers have to hold up, and then they have to revise them if the board changes priorities.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if we just table this until we do our goals and his goals, because the other piece is we would want, if it's gonna be a superintendent board relationship, we would want to allow him the opportunity to weigh in on that, so maybe we can
Oh,
do
yeah.
this like a month or 2 before we do our goal setting, get this all, like what we want that appendix to look like, and
Right.
just table it for now, and leave it as is for now. If the group is okay with that.
I think that's great.
Okay with that? Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
The only thing was that, what was that, the job description? Does that go in there, or is it?
Yeah, like, what is that, I mean,
Is there an
we
HR,
we don't need that particular,
is there not an HR policy?
Not
that
really.
falls under?
Yep.
oh, okay.
I mean, if not, I mean, that one's pretty basic. Just
Yeah.
says that you'll have a job description.
Right, yeah.
I think we can approve that one if we need
Yeah.
to.
I don't even think we need it.
Well, unless we say it, and then we don't have to have it here at our meeting.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
determines who does it.
Officially, wouldn't this be like a covered in an HR policy?
we don't even, I mean, we don't have to have a policy that says we have job descriptions, we have job descriptions. We just have them.
Yeah, the superintendent of schools shall
I
develop
think
job
I
descriptions.
think we just strike this one. This just says what our job descriptions are gonna have, a title, the statement of duties, who the employee is directly responsible for, and education or training required. I mean, this is,
A lot of them from 1990 are very, some of them are just one sentence, like this one was.
Right.
It's just, you guys can, it's your policy book, you decide within it.
Well, again, we'll table this one too as the pack and decide, once we talk with Scott, what he wants to.
yeah, I mean, we don't have to have a policy that says we have job descriptions to have job descriptions.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
We have job descriptions for ADA, AA compliance, and for the posting of jobs, essentially, so it's just doesn't really.
Okay, so you know what we're doing with that.
So table.
Yep, table till 7. Item number 8 is our self-evaluation. And that,
Did we already do that?
Oh, that's a,
where am I?
okay. I thought we did that. Oh, this is a recommended evaluation timeline, so they have it right here.
So,
You see that?
are we on the board self-eval?
We are.
Yeah, the board self-eval. Look, I tried to go through that and list everything you've accomplished and put priorities. You're certainly going to, when the new super comes in, look at some of your priorities. But this is just a listing of basically your achievements, what you've done, and then what might be priorities for the board in the future. So it's a statement of where we've been and where we want to look at. And, you know, you can go through, you know, as many reading as you want. This is a self-evaluation, so, you know, it's up to you with what you'd like. But if you treat this as a first reading, and Kate, I don't know how you want to do this, but, you know, it'd be good to maybe have a self-evaluation for this year, you know, completed by June. And then when Scott comes in for his meeting, you could show this to him, and he might also have a lot of suggestions about the evaluation process.
What to add in. for
Especially with the
upcoming-
priorities for, you
Yeah.
know, like just having that kind of group.
Yeah, the priorities going forward.
Yeah. Um, I think that makes sense. I think just want to get everybody's, you know, just quick read on their particulars of what we want to confirm for 24, 25. Up to you if you want to do that now or just bring it back for June.
Isn't it, oh, this is May still. Seems like May's been forever.
Do we have under the personnel relations, hiring of the new superintendent?
Yeah, it's under the first one, educational leadership, I believe. Right, I saw it.
The
Oh, yeah,
first
we did
bullet.
first bullet. I was looking at her hiring, I was like, I was looking at
wait.
her hiring.
I saw it, I just read it, yeah, yeah. I mean, it looks pretty comprehensive, I just.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
it
good.
looks gonna be anything that we,
I, go ahead.
I'm fine with.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Yes, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We just
Opposed?
Almost done.
You're approved.
First, we just decided to spend another $500,000.
Yeah, we don't mind.
We don't care.
Welcome, Christopher.
On donuts.
Chocolate allocation. All right, so we have approved this
We
as,
did that, the self-eval.
as presented. Okay.
Superintendent self-eval.
Yep, superintendent self-eval is the other attachment here.
We have Adams, does he have one to pass out?
He has one to pass out. Did you pass out your self-evaluation?
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
We
you
got
did.
it. It's in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yep.
How's it already on June?
Huh?
Priorities for the future, enjoy retirement.
That's a good one, that's a good one.
Oh, you're on my evaluation?
Yeah,
I would just appreciate it if you made a, you know, maybe a motion to, just let me meet with either Kate or another board member to put down, you know, evaluation notices, but this is just a listing of what I've accomplished this year, but you're required by my contract to evaluate me every school year, and unless there's something happens in the next 4 weeks, you know, this is the evaluation that I put down. And it's up to you if, you know, you want to, but, you know, Kate and I meet all the time. If there was a motion just to, you know, have the board chair meet with Mr. Burrows and sign off for the board, then that would be a nice going away, quick present for you, because you don't want to spend hours reviewing this. You're going to be setting up an evaluation format for the new super. And this is the one that I presented, and quite frankly, where did this come from? My second meeting with the Board of Ed, they got to the superintendent's evaluation, and they spent 1 hour talking about the format of what the evaluation was, and I just said, stop. Let me come back with something and see what you think. And I went through, you know, accomplishments and priorities and listed some of the things, and they said, we like this. So that's what's been in existence for the last 19 and a half years. So it's up to you and the new superintendent to work it out. But as I said before, in his contract and in mine, there's always some categories that you as a board must evaluate because there's a legal contract on that.
Motion?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
To
That
have,
does it.
yeah,
Yeah.
have
We're
You
done.
did,
me
you
review
did
the
the
final
agenda.
agenda.
Chris, you,
We should have been like, hey.
you're smiling.
The
Quick
fastest meeting, yeah, okay. So, the town referendum again is June 3rd at 7, well, no, that's not at 7, that's, I think we said that, it's like all day in the gym,
Yeah.
in town hall, so. That
Oh,
is,
is that town hall or gym? I
It's at
think
the
it said
town
gym.
hall.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
it's
said
town
hall?
hall because the kids have school. So
Yeah, I think
gotta
it's at
be at
town hall.
All right, it doesn't matter to me,
Yeah.
but
Before
I,
we adjourn, can I request an addition to next meeting's agenda?
sure.
If the
Yeah.
board, I'd like to name this building after Adam in some capacity, the Adam Burrows Administration, or however we word it,
Okay,
as a reflection
Yeah,
of his
that's
years of
nice.
service here.
all right.
that's a good idea.
Worth a discussion. for
Add a motion to
To
add
name the
add
building after you?
well, do we want it for next meeting or just
Or
make
we
the
wanna
motion
do
now?
it now, make a motion.
I mean, we can make the motion now, or
We
somebody
need
needs
a
to
motion to
propose
add
what
it
it
to the
is, what it's
agenda.
gonna be.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
we-
so we'll
So
just
we might need-
discuss,
you might need a little
discuss
bit of
next,
time to
yeah.
Think about it, and then,
Yeah.
cause he might want middle name, doctor, no
Right.
doctor, you know, and then
That's the
make
one
a
he wants.
recommendation next meeting, we'll vote on it.
Yeah, well,
Add it to the June 12th.
June, yeah.
What's it called now?
The
White
House? Like, okay, so I thought that was a joke, but it's really called
No,
White
I-
House?
I don't think it has a name.
Like, I thought that was like a, play up, like,
The central office.
Central
Central office.
yeah, I was like, I think that's a kind of,
The White House is just like kind of the school.
yeah, right, that's what we call it, in the White House, yeah.
Yeah.
Alice.
Adam's White House.
That's why-
Adam Esboro's central office.
Yeah.
I've always, I couldn't write the White House down. I always put central office, just as what we call it what it is. Chris, that's a surprise, my gosh. Well,
21
anyway,
years is a,
I thought I was gonna get a little plaque in this room or something. But no, that's whatever
Adam's
the
statue be
board,
going like
thank you
this.
so much,
A bust.
With the budget.
With a folder, with a binder.
cheap plaque.
We have to get the, Mrs. Burns, the art teacher, with clay, like, coming up with something quickly.
Paper mache, you put it together.
Okay, excellent. All right, and the next Board of Education meeting is June 12th here in the central office, with the transportation report. All right, so moving to executive session, do we have a motion to invite Mr. Burrows as a guest to executive session?
Motion, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
I would like to make a motion to add something to our executive session agenda to discuss classified contracts.
I'll second. And we'll add it to the agenda, and then,
All in favor?
All
All in
right.
favor? Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed?
No.
None heard. Motion passes to add a classified contract to the agenda of
and then
executive
Sarah
session.
needs to make a motion to move that agenda item to executive session.
And, okay, second motion.
Yeah, motion to
A
move.
motion to move classified contracts to the executive session agenda
Or now.
for
Now.
tonight,
For
for
tonight, and
tonight's
then-
meeting.
And
then I need a second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, to move that piece to the executive session. And then we need a motion to invite Adam into
Motion.
executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, now we'll enter second round. motions. Okay. So our action, we need a motion to authorize the superintendent to sign the classified contracts as agreed upon by the Board of Education.
Motion,
Second.
all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard? Motion passes. Okay, that's the only item for motion. Need a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Chris and Sarah. Motion, everyone aye?
Aye. All in favor, aye.
All in favor, aye. Motion passes. It is 7:59. There we go. Okay, adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Good night. And again, we are invited to the thing tomorrow, the breakfast tomorrow, just anybody that can make it. The 8th grade breakfast.
I'd rather do the budget than this contract.
Thank
Yeah, we
you.
have to let Dee Dee know if we're going